Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here. It's hit or quit. We didn't quit on you. We are back to talk about the latest installment of Stars on Mars. And back with me, a woman who helps plug all the holes in our podcasting lineup. It's Jenny Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
I never thought of myself as a hole plugger, but here I
Just
am plugging away.
stick your face right in
Right in
there and
there.
stick your finger in that hole,
Yes.
okay?
And hopefully I have a backpack to use as a chaise lounge.
Okay. So we were out of commission last week on
Yes.
scheduling Stars on Mars last week,
Conflicting vacations.
following a week in which Stars on Mars was on a hiatus. But we are
Yes.
catching up on these last two episodes. But it was kind of a two-part episode, I would say.
Yeah, we did not
Between
have an extraction in episode 5. So I think it actually works out well to kind of bounce these two together.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll highlight some of the things from episode 5, but maybe spend a little more time talking about the events of this week. But basically, we have like an ongoing story of there's drama in the hab between Lance and Ariel,
Mhm.
who Jenny clocked very early on. I think Lance is the villain of the season. I think
Did
he's
I
the villain of
not?
Stars on Mars. So the vibes are strong with Jenny Autumn.
I read the edgic, or I also was just like, I'm getting bad vibes. And
She's
you
been
know what?
new.
I'm a excellent judge of character, I think.
Yeah. And so that's going on. And then also we had our 4 new people who showed up here in the Hab. You and I were speculating
Yes.
recently about who they might be. And so we'll have the opportunity to talk about that. Of course, Jenny and I also have been doing weekly podcasts about Claim to Fame. So we have been very busy over there. If for
Mhm.
whatever reason you have missed our coverage of Claim to Fame, you can follow that at robhasawebsite.com/fame feed. If you like stars doing things, yeah, you could
And
check that out.
it's an even better show. If you like Rob and I, it's Rob and I talking about that show. And then we also have other cool people joining us. So it's like, it's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win-win. Okay.
Yeah.
Jenny, we hopped back into Stars on Mars. How are you feeling about Stars on Mars as we approach? We're 6 hours in.
Um, I still like the show as like a full product. I find it watchable. Even though I'm really not excited by the missions.
Yeah.
I think that for a celebrity competition show, I have watched much worse.
Yeah.
And for there to be I will say it's not really the kind of drama that I would like in
Hmm.
my reality television, but for there to be storylines of drama at this stage of the show, I think is like that is interesting because I feel like a lot of these shows, especially when you have celebrities, are just kind of like ho hum.
Yeah.
And so I like that there is actually storylines and action going on between these people, and it's not just like a big happy family. Obviously I wish that like the subject matter of the drama was different, because I think that it's like some of this is pretty wild to be breaking into this show. I obviously have my opinions about it, but
Yeah.
I think that the show itself is still pretty good.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
So I feel like, and probably very similar to you, that I do feel like that the show is very fun at times, and I feel like
Yes.
that when the show is fun, and that's when I'm enjoying it the most. And I'm a person, I love drama, like I love when shows get messy. But I have
Mhm.
found that all throughout the season, and not just recently, I feel like that when the show is dramatic, I feel like that is when I'm enjoying Stars on Mars the least.
Least, yeah,
I feel
because I
like
think
that.
it's not fun drama, obviously, right? Like, it's not people arguing about like, well, I mean, remember the simpler times of, Marshawn and Lance having arguments about using the
The
bathroom.
toilet, yeah,
Like,
that's the
remember
conflict
the
that I've
days?
enjoyed on this show, the
Yeah.
stupid conflict. and we,
Mhm.
have, conflict that's like not as fun. Even like the conflict from the missions, like I feel like it's not that fun.
Yeah.
But like we had like this big incident that happened where, if you have not been catching up on Stars on Mars and just been listening to the podcast, so there's been friction between Lance and a lot of it seems like that there's like this like rather like they don't call it like an alliance, but
Mhm.
there is like a group of friends in the HAB
Yes.
where
There is kind of two
it's
sides, I would say, right?
yeah,
Like
two
I
sides of
would
the house. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that, and I feel like they kind of paint that picture for us maybe at the beginning of the fifth episode, because you have like Ariel and Tinashe and Adam are close, and then like Portia's close with them, but Portia is kind of someone that is pointed out as really good with everyone, can talk to everyone, and has
Hmm.
relationships with everyone. And then you have the athlete alliance, which Adam is an athlete. Why do we keep not like a
But
professional
he
figure
doesn't
skater
hang
is
out with
still an
them.
athlete. I
He
know, but
hangs out with,
it's just funny how they keep referring to Lance, Marshawn, and Rhonda as the athletes, because the three of them do hang out and they are basically an alliance.
mhm.
But Adam, they never refer to Adam as an athlete, which I just think is kind of interesting. But that's kind of how, and I forget anyone there, like besides the new people? I think that is basically how things have shaken
Yeah.
out, and that Portia is, I think she's personally more friends with the Ariel and Tinashe and Adam side of things,
Yes.
but she seems very diplomatic and is kind of like focused on keeping herself good with everyone. That's how it seems to me.
Yes, I agree. And so,
Yeah.
in the episode from last week, that I don't really even know how they got to talking about this, but Lance Armstrong, who also, like, I guess is doing greatest hits, because he also got into this on Twitter recently about
But that would have been
he.
after this. Like he's keeping
I
it.
think
Yeah.
he's doing material. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
this is
This.
like some of his like go-to stuff, and Lance Armstrong, who says, somebody on his team is transgender, and he loves it for that person. Great, great, great. But he feels like absolutely not, can't have transgender women in women's sports. They need their own thing, and that's that, and we'll celebrate it. And he says, I'm very pro trans, but they should be in their own sport, and or not be competing against women who.
Basically, yeah, their
Yeah.
own category.
Yes, yes.
Um, which
Or not be competing in women's sports, I should say.
Yes. Well, and
So.
I don't know if he was just outlining just women's sports, but he basically said like there should be a separate category, and then everyone has their own category. And yeah, again, I don't know how this came up, but I think it was Tinashe that immediately was like, I don't think it's a good thing to just otherize people like that. Like, you know,
Right.
well, what is this worth? And Lance does this thing that drives me nuts, which I think is like the biggest red flag, is when someone says, "I am the most liberal person," and then like
No
is
doubt.
preceding that with
Hmm.
like things that are very counter to that. You know what I mean? It's giving the "I'm a nice guy," asserting I'm definitely a nice guy, and you are not a nice guy. So it's like, I think if you're having to like vehemently assert that you are a liberal person and you love, love, love like transgender people and you support it, like something isn't lining up here. And before we go any further, I just want to say, why is Lance Armstrong, of all people, so concerned with the fairness and sanctity of sport? This is wild.
Yeah.
What are you talking
Well,
about?
that's the somewhat comical part. Like, if there was
Yeah,
anybody who was like going to be our authority about the integrity of sport, maybe it would not be Lance Armstrong,
yeah,
who infamously was,
stripped of every.
doping for many years about what's fair, what's not fair, or who has an advantage.
Yeah,
So that being said, to me, I feel like this is Lance Armstrong says it's not a nuanced discussion. It's not I think that this is a rather like complicated thing to work out That's not what we're here to do on this podcast, but this is the backstory of
Yes.
the feud between Lance Armstrong and Ariel. And Lance Armstrong is very dead set in his position. And Ariel, who already hated Lance Armstrong's guts, is like, okay,
Remember the
this is
roaches.
it.
Yeah.
This is the line in the sand. I'm done.
Which understandable. I think an important thing to note from this is that Ariel was not the only person that was very, very upset and uncomfortable and against what Lance was saying. But what happens, I mean, I think Ariel is just a little bit more outspoken, and they already had like a feud going. So this is like kind of the straw that broke the camel's back kind of situation between the two of them. But I think that it's important to note that Lance did piss off a lot of people with these comments, but Ariel kind of becomes the symbol
Yeah.
of like that side of opposing him on this. So,
And he's
yeah.
openly antagonistic towards
Yes.
her for whatever reason. And so that's like kind of the backdrop for where things are in episode 5. Then we had the tease of, okay, 4 new people are showing up and they go on a mission to bring in these 4 new people. They had to use the Boston Dynamics dogs to help them. Jenny, it was very
Marsha
sad.
and Eartha.
It was a very sad moment that the dogs were actually going to sacrifice themselves to save the HAP.
Yeah, they had to attach themselves to these canisters that fell off the whatever was bringing in the new people, and then the rad dogs had to go into a cave to dispose of these canisters, and then they get exploded. Traumatic, but then also
They're okay.
Spoiler, they're back.
Okay.
They're fine.
Right.
So I don't know what that was for. It was just symbolic, I guess.
Very symbolic. Okay. All right. So we end up meeting our 4 new celebronauts. We were, speculating on who they might be. And ultimately, we meet 4 people. Celebrity chef Kat Cora.
This was
Bachelor.
The one.
Yeah, well,
I did not know who Kat Cora was, but
yes. Okay. Well,
we'll go on.
I'll tell you who's here. Okay.
Okay.
Bachelor royalty Ashley I.
Yeah.
Iconetti.
Yeah.
Iconetti.
Yeah.
NBA superstar Paul Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
And comedian Andy Richter. A real ragtag group shows up, Jenny.
So random. I will say, because I kind of remembered us talking before we had the Yachtis, like who we thought these people were going to be. And, some people thought like it's going to be people that were already there. They're going to come back, or like they're not going to be competing with them or whatever. No, we literally got 4 new celebrities that are just coming to join the group and are now part of the missions. It was very unexpected.
Yep.
And completely, what a random group, I feel.
A new influx of people. Now, I don't know, were these people they were talking to originally, and these people like wanted more money for that amount of time? Like, okay, well, what would you take for 1 week?
Would you say that these 4 people are more famous than the ones we've had thus far?
No,
I wouldn't say.
If anything, they're less famous.
So if anything, then that's maybe the deal. And like maybe they were just less available. I don't know. Is this Fox saving money?
It's a real ragtag group. Okay.
Yes.
So I guess let's talk about them, because I actually I'm kind of happy they're here
Yeah.
to spice things up.
I think we needed more people, because I think it was getting too like low in numbers, and it was very clear like who was with who, and so I think it was getting a little predictable. It's nice to get some new dynamics in here.
Okay, and not Boston Dynamics. Okay,
No.
so let's talk about Kat Cora.
The first woman Iron Chef, apparently.
First woman Iron Chef. Now she does fill a role here in the HAB in that
Literally.
she's gonna be she's cooking.
Which is so funny, because before they came, we
Chief
saw them
stew.
being like, what if it's a chef? What if it's a chef? And I was like, why would they bring a chef? Because in my head, I'm like, who? I just wasn't thinking of a famous chef. I guess there are famous chefs, but also this was the one person I didn't know. So sorry to Kat Cora, but this is very exciting. I mean, what a great role to fill if you're coming in late and trying to, secure a space here. You have someone who's a chef.
Secure space.
Yeah, secure literal space. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Did you know
she's
Cat
here.
Cora?
I'd never heard that
Okay.
name in my life.
Okay.
Okay. I know Joey Cora. I know Alex Cora. I
Yeah.
don't know Cat Cora.
Okay.
Okay. Um, let's talk about Ashley I. Now, Shannon Gusty told me this is her favorite person from the Bachelor franchise.
So I fell off with the Bachelor franchise, but I think I've watched everything that Ashley had ever done. And I enjoy her. She's very real. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like she was known for crying all the time, and I think she might have even had like a virgin storyline on the first one or something, and she's just like very like authentically her, like
Hmm.
and funny, and kind of just like pokes fun at herself, doesn't take herself too seriously. So I think that she's quite beloved in the franchise. I think some people maybe find her annoying. I don't know. But she ended up like this guy that she pined for like the longest time. They end up, I think, off of the show, end up, you know, connecting in real life again, and then they ended up getting married and have like a baby now. So really a Bachelor franchise happy ending for Ashley. So, but in terms of like reality like stars, I don't think that she's necessarily the biggest name, but if you're a Bachelor franchise person, I guess in that, like, you know, if you're a Bravo person, you absolutely know Portia. If you are a Bachelor franchise person, you absolutely know Ashley I. So
Okay. All
it's
right.
not the
Well,
weirdest, but yeah,
she
kind of
shows
random.
up. It's not going to be a long stay in the
Yeah.
hab for Ashley, as we'll get to. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about NBA legend Paul Pierce. And
Yeah.
he shows up, another former athlete.
Just ready to join the Athlete Alliance,
Ready to
basically.
join the Athlete Alliance. He's ready to
Yeah.
jump right in. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he kind of like fills like the Richard Sherman role of sort of like that he's kind of serious.
Mhm.
He is like certainly not like a wild man like Marshawn Lynch.
Right.
Definitely seems to be vibing more with the athletes in the house.
Yes, which is not shocking. But if we're going to say he's filling the Richard Sherman role, I will say, please just give me Richard Sherman instead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know much about Paul Pierce and his life, but I got pretty negative vibes right off the bat. And it doesn't seem like
What are you,
he's
Ariel Winter?
I am, I guess. Yeah, I guess I am. Maybe
He
that is
didn't like
me.
her energy, and then she wanted to
No.
get him eliminated.
I mean, I think that there were a lot of people at fault in these situations, but I think that he also came in a little bit hot for a new person here. But I also think that he's in an okay spot because he is going to fall right into that little um, athlete alliance. I think that this is the kind of guy that they've been looking for.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then finally, Andy Richter is
So
here.
random.
Very Randy Richter. Okay.
Fun though. He's I think we need comedians, and we've lost like all of the people that are on like
No,
the
this is
funnier
great.
side.
This is
Yeah,
great that
so
he's here.
mhm.
So I am thrilled to have Andy Richter because we do not have really since like Natasha's been gone. We don't
Yeah.
have like a comic narrator. Maybe we had that
Yeah.
like with McLovin in the first episode.
And that's
Uh,
it. You know what
but
I
that's
mean? Like we
it.
need that.
And
Yeah.
Adam is funny, and so like we get that from him sometimes. But I
Mhm.
think Andy has come in and become like a real confessional stealer.
I will say Portia's also pretty funny. Like some of these people do have funny moments, and obviously Marshawn is like not he's not trying to be a comedian, but he just has this like natural like charisma that is just very enjoyable.
Hmm.
But you have a legitimate like natural comedian, professional comedian,
Yeah.
comedic writer. You know they're going to deliver some good sound bites. And I'm grateful for that because it would be boring without that.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch is just like a wacky character
Yeah.
more than he's like writing,
Yeah.
funny
He doesn't
lines for
have
the
like,
confessional.
yeah. Yeah. He doesn't have like
Yeah,
zingers or anything like that.
like he's a
He's just
great
funny.
reactor,
Yes.
Marshawn, where Andy Richter has come in and like is trying to be funny, which we
Yeah.
appreciate here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for trying, Andy.
Because as we mentioned, the show gets a little serious sometimes. It gets a
Yes,
little
it's
bit
I mean, not
veering into.
like Special Forces: World's Toughest Test serious and
Mhm.
earnest, but it does get a little earnest at times. Like they're really taking fake Mars seriously,
You
like a
got
little too
to.
seriously.
You got to.
I guess I just don't know what it's like to be on fake Mars and
Yes.
have serious missions in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be very serious, but also, you're sticking your face in a hole to keep the oxygen from going out of the habitat.
Yeah, like it's truly absurd. Can we just
Mhm.
recognize that? Like, can we just take a moment and be like, okay, guys, we're here competing for no prize to be the brightest star in the galaxy. We occasionally get video messages from William Shatner, and we're pretending to be on Mars. Like, let's step back a second and think about like how serious this is.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day with William Shatner. Do you think they just filmed all of
Yes,
William Shatner stuff in one day? Like they had
in
Shatner for
one
one
hour.
day in 1
In 1 hour.
hour. And then maybe each one was like, good news. You completed the mission. You've won.
Yeah.
Bad job.
I mean, I have been at live tapings of like Big Brother Canada,
Yes.
and Arissa is a complete professional, and I've watched her record multiple versions of reactions based on what outcome you might get. So I'm 100% confident that if they have a big name talent like William Shatner, he's wearing the same thing in everything. Like
Mhm.
they recorded this all in one go, and he just did, you know, reaction A, reaction B, and
Yeah.
then every mission, like that's it.
I would love to see him call somebody by name in the like where
Yeah,
like
like
mention anybody.
if only he could react to them in the way that the AI does, like the little computer voice that talks to them in the hab. I would love if every once in a while you heard from Shaddy Daddy like that, but realistically, this was recorded far in advance of them being there. He has he might not even know who's on the cast.
Probably not. Lance,
Probably.
I heard you're showing everyone your whole ass in the hab.
I would kill for that. That would be so good.
Mhm.
I would
Mhm. I
love
don't
to
think it's
hear Shaddy
happening.
Daddy own Lance Armstrong. It'd be so beautiful.
Too bad. Jenny, let's talk about the drama that unfolds here where the tension this week was thicker than Andy Richter.
Yes.
Yes,
From a Doja Cat song.
from the famous Doja Cat song. Okay, so we have to decide, okay, who is going to be the new commander?
Base commander, yeah.
Base
Mm.
commander, BC. Who's it going to
Yes.
be? And so Lance is vying to be the base commander. Andy Richter might want to be the base, and they shoot down Andy Richter so hard, like you can't be the base. I thought it would be fun.
So here's the thing. I agree with them because it's like you should at least just be a part of one mission before
Mhm.
you do base commander, because I
That's
think
fair.
that like you learn something from that when there's other people that have been doing multiple of these missions. I think like, okay, let's let one of them do it one more time, and then after this one, someone who has at least gone through the process of doing the mission can be base commander. And
Mhm.
to be honest, I think it looks like he is probably going to be base commander in the next episode, that based on the previews I saw. I
Okay.
think that's my prediction. So I think they like gave him like a
I mean,
1 week kind of like
they,
just
he wasn't even allowed to be base commander of the Conan O'Brien show.
well, that is not as serious as
Yes, he
Mars.
would be a great mission specialist. Like if Conan
Oh
was the
yeah.
base commander, he would
Yes.
be a great mission specialist and
Yes.
sitting next to the base commander. That's
Yeah, it
his
maybe
forte.
not, yeah, maybe not the base commander, but if you could just be Conan's
The
mission
sidekick
specialist.
of
Yes.
the base commander.
Yes.
That would be really ideal. That's
That
his
would be
strong
his
suit.
spot. Yeah. So, yeah, they shoot him down pretty quick. There's and then it kind of starts with like a couple of people recommending Lance and then a couple of people recommending Ariel, and here we go.
Here we
Like
go.
you
Right.
can't write this stuff, or maybe you can.
And so I guess the concern here is that Ariel and Lance, they have, personal issues. And so Lance is very much of the mind of like, okay, well, you know what? If Ariel's going to be the base commander, I'm just going to leave. Just going to leave.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not going to be like, you can't fire me. I
He's gonna
quit.
take his ball and go home. Like,
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
yes. Take take his ball and go home.
and go
Yep.
home.
Yes.
So I yeah, and this move from him really pisses off Portia. Portia is
Mhm.
like team like make this fun, which I appreciate. No quitting. If people don't want to be there and they're not going to be fun, I would be fine with them quitting.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be too upset about Lance leaving, but Portia is really annoyed that Lance is basically like, okay, well, this is someone who clearly has an issue with me, and if they're in a position where they get to decide who's in the bottom and who goes home, I'm just gonna go. I don't think
Yeah.
I can be in the hab any longer with some of these people, which is like he's so immature.
Like, I'm not gonna
Like,
say who,
yeah,
but there's some people here
like bro,
that
we know.
and she's like, "Ah, I am not going to have my integrity
Yes.
questioned by you.
Yes.
This is ridiculous."
Yeah.
But I do
So,
think she really would want to, like,
oh,
you know, like
100%. That would
she
be.
definitely did want to be the base commander to get rid of Lance Armstrong.
And if this whole thing hadn't played out the way it did, I think there's a situation where,
Yeah.
he does. And I think that what happens is there's pushback from Marshawn. So
Mhm.
Marshawn basically is like, well, if you two have issues, then I don't think either of you should be base commander because, that's bad for the team. And so we need a more neutral person to be the base commander, and you guys just figure your stuff
Yeah.
out and don't bring other people into it, which I actually don't think was a terrible argument from Marshawn. Like, I just think that at times he was not maybe expressing it
Mhm.
super
Well, he also
diplomatically.
thought that she was gonna, like, get rid of him then, when she had the chance. But
Yeah.
I do
I think
think
they're
that
just like
this
afraid of her.
from Lance Armstrong's perspective, like, this was a really effective, case of, like, working the refs here, and
Yeah.
this is we see this in all different aspects of life, of it's like, "Hold on, this is unfair, you're picking on me, and then you sort of, like, you get the person to say, "No, no, 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 we would never do that, we would never do that," and then then they're in a bad position of, like, then they can't actually, like, then you can actually do whatever, and they can't
Yeah.
call you out like, "Oh, see, this is what I said. I knew this was going to happen. You're just picking on me because," and it's like, it doesn't matter if it's like you're actually, like, doing the thing that you said that they were going to accuse you of doing, but now you can actually do the thing.
Yes. Like the and that just made it so easy for, him to be kept because he I mean, no one was bad in this next mission, but whatever. But they're in the situation now where they're like, okay, well, now that it's been brought up and talked about in a group, like you basically, unless he like really whiffs it, like you
Hmm.
can't get rid of Lance. Like, and
Yeah.
that is why I feel like I thought it was kind of a misstep from Ariel to kind of hold her ground here because eventually, I guess like she cries, she has a chat with Marshawn. Marshawn is like he's really doing a good job at this point explaining to her why he thinks that it's just maybe not great for the group that the two of them that are in conflict are in a position of power
Yeah.
because of the dynamic that causes. She gets upset. The next day she calls everyone in and she's like, yeah, so I am very committed to the success of this mission more than anything, and so I am still going to be base commander.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this was a great move for her because
No.
now she puts herself in a situation where she's kind of damned if she does, damned if she doesn't, because she basically has said that she won't get rid of Lance necessarily unless he does something wrong for the mission. And it's like he's probably not going to screw up the mission. So you've basically, ensured that he's staying longer, and you made like this big mess of it in front of everyone. Like,
She is very dramatic, Ariel, and I get it. She wanted to be the base commander, but I feel like that she's probably a lot to live with in the Hab.
I mean, yes, I think the problem is that she is outspoken and she is fine, like kind of, speaking up and like is okay with being the strong like voice in times where other people have stepped back. And you can see this in a lot of other situations too. But I also think that there are some inherent like reasons why, people like Lance do pick on her and do
Hmm.
kind of like you can see all of the reasons why those two people don't get along, and it's on both of them. But I just think that like it was not a smart move
Hmm.
for Ariel to do this. Like let somebody else do it and maybe they get rid of Lance as well. Some, you know what I mean? Like this
Hmm.
doesn't need to be your mission. But she's had this thing, it's been like this arc for her where she's like constantly wants to be base commander, but then she kind of steps back. And so I think for her it was just like she needed to do this. She needed to like, you know, check this off her list or something like that. But I just thought that it was not worth the drama that it caused.
Hmm.
And clearly, you know, like kind of impacts her relationship with Marshawn here too, because I think that that got kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely got weird. Also, her relationship with Paul Pierce as well
Yeah. Yeah.
also comes up because like he comes in instantly into the hab and it's like, oh,
She's
why
pushy.
like yeah,
Let's
you
get rid of
why,
her.
why are you being like this?
Which here's the thing is, and this is my issue with Paul and how he handled it is like say these things in a confessional. You just got here, you don't know the relationship between all of these people, and I don't think it's very smart to come in and be like, hey, if we're getting rid of someone, let's get
Yeah.
rid of this girl. So I just thought like that wasn't a smart move for him either.
The only thing I'll say in defense of like the new people is like they're coming in, they have no idea what this is. And they think it's
What's
like,
going
hey,
on?
this
Yeah.
is like celebrity party house. And like he comes in and she's like being like, oh, listen here.
Yeah.
It's like,
They're
whoa,
taking it very
whoa.
seriously.
Like,
Yeah.
why are you like this?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that like at this part, Ariel is having like a really tough time,
Yes.
and it's coming out. You know what I mean? Like it's coming out in her behavior and her actions a little bit. So, but I just think like Paul, if you're a little smart, maybe don't come in immediately and
Right.
say like, "Let's
Right.
get rid of this girl and
Yeah.
talk to me."
I just think that they may not have known what the show was at this
I
point.
would
It's
not
just
be shocked. I don't think anyone
I
knew
don't
what the
think they
show
got a
was
whole
coming in.
debriefing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so all right, so they come in and we have our Ariel is set up. Okay. This week's calamity is meteor shower. Okay. The
Mhm.
meteor shower has made, I mean, this was shades of the fire. But the poor Hab has been through so much. The
It's
meteor
really
shower
struggling.
made holes in the Hab. We need to send people out to go fill the holes with their fingers and faces.
Yep. Whatever you need to use to fill these holes depends on the size and depends on your size.
Yeah. Boy, Jenny, not since MILF Manor have we had.
People shoving their faces in holes? Is that where we're going with
Fingers. Yeah. Yeah.
fingers, faces?
Everything.
Oh my
Everything.
goodness.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, all right. So they send people out, and okay, this was basically like an endurance challenge of all right.
It was
There are
literally for the endurance patch, Rob. It was an endurance
yeah, it was an
challenge.
endurance challenge. Okay, so
Yeah.
there are holes in the hab. Stick your fingers in, stick your face in, and then just sit there. And so they didn't really. It was like, okay, you got this one, you got this one, you got this one. There was
Yeah.
no sort of like draft of what's what. Ashley
No.
ends up getting the hole that's on the bottom.
Yeah, it's the lowest one. So she actually, in order for her to be as comfortable as possible while plugging this hole, she literally needs to sit. And because of the giant heavy backpack that she has on, she kind of just ends up leaning on it, and then it becomes her little chaise lounge. And so she is literally in the best position possible. All these people are like stretching their limbs. I don't even think her arm is like I think her arm is probably like resting on her body to plug this little hole at the bottom. And I'll
Mhm.
just say this isn't Ashley's fault.
No.
It's not like, you know, someone asked her to do something different and she said, "No, I want the easiest job." It just seemed that everyone just kind of figured it out based on their height or whatever. I think
Mhm.
Paul had to get on top of like the ATV to like reach the really tall one. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. Get the basketball player to, you know, do the really high up
Yeah.
one.
That makes sense. So they're all standing there, and so um Ariel, base commander, is trying to. All right, how do I help pass the time? I'm gonna
Yeah.
like ask some road trip questions to the whole
Let's
gang.
bring the morale
Let's
up.
bring, yeah. So she was,
Oh boy.
what's the stupidest thing you ever heard? And for Andy Richter, it turns out that his net worth is $10 million.
Well, yeah. So she asks, like, what is the stupidest thing you've read about yourself as a celebrity? And so he basically said, I read that my net worth was $10 million. And that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because I would not be here in fake Mars shoving my face in a hole.
And that's what he says. Yeah. So
are you calling BS? You think that he is worth
I mean, so
around
let's see.
that?
Andy Richter net worth.
I'm really bad at these things.
So
like, I don't know what people
so celebrity net worth says he's worth $4 million.
Oh, the recession really hit him. You know, he maybe was worth 10 million.
So
but
you think that
maybe they updated it after they saw the show.
Yeah. So
he got called out.
That's that. No way. No way he's worth $10 million. And if he was, it wouldn't be sticking his face in a hole on Mars.
So clearly they're getting paid. Obviously. Of course they're getting paid. But it's like, it's kind of funny because it's like there's no prize. So the payment is probably just based on how many episodes. So he's probably already pissed that he like missed out on like 4 episodes of payment.
Maybe. Okay. So there's an article. So what's interesting is that the U.S. The Sun has an article saying that Celebrity Net Worth reports Andy Richter has a net worth of $10 million, but Celebrity Net Worth says that Andy Richter is actually worth $4 million.
Wow. What a dispute.
What about Conan? What does Celebrity Net Worth say about Conan?
No, I thought you were going to say what would Conan say that Andy's net worth is?
Celebrity Net Worth says Conan's worth $200 million.
Okay, that's quite a lot more.
Pretty good.
It makes sense. Sorry, Andy.
Sorry, Andy.
That's why you can't be base commander.
Kat Cora says the stupidest thing that she ever heard is that she's straight.
I thought that was Rhonda that said that, but I couldn't tell who it was.
I couldn't tell. Like it was hard to tell. I think
I think that had to have been Rhonda, because Kat and Adam were the ones mixing. So there's 7 of them that were plugging the holes, and then Adam and Kat, their job was like to mix like this solution to make rubber plugs that would plug the holes.
Yes.
So
okay.
When that was, because that project that Ariel was doing was to entertain the people that were out plugging the holes. So I thought it was maybe Rhonda.
I thought it was Kat, and then on Wikipedia that it says that Kat's spouses were Jennifer and Nicole. So I don't know.
So maybe it was Kat, but also like
I don't know a lot about Rhonda's personal life.
Well, Rhonda is like, I think has a husband and a child, but like that doesn't mean she's not straight. Like, or it doesn't mean that she is straight. So it could have been her that said that, but I guess under that logic, it could have been Kat, but I just thought that Kat wasn't there for that point. There is a Kat in the
we'll ask Lance Armstrong
background right
to settle all this for us.
Yes, we need Lance to settle all of these kinds of debates, obviously.
Lance, tell us what's what. Okay.
Yeah, please. You're so liberal.
All right. So ultimately, like they keep their fingers in the hole, and they come in with like silly string, and then
so they have to like mix this solution that takes 30 minutes to set, which is why like after each round.
Could you imagine just listening to this podcast and not having watched the episode?
It's insane. Like it doesn't make any sense. Any of it.
A lot of stuff happened.
A lot of stuff happened, but also not. A lot of stuff didn't happen.
Boy, they tackled a lot of issues on this show.
Yeah.
Safe to have with silly
musty television.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. Difficult decisions need to get made, Jenny.
Because they did fine in this chat. Like there was no fear.
There was no weak link. How do you nobody quit. Nobody was like my fingers.
They so they end up saying that Rhonda wasn't the best in this particular
did you catch what she did wrong?
What happened was when her plug that she had been plugging was dealt with the silly string, she sat down and took a little rest. I think that's it.
No resting.
Like because but then again, Paul got off his little ATV when he was done, and he went and offered to help other people. So it's like, I guess in comparison, but then they also put Paul in the bottom 3. So it's like, anyway,
well, that was because they didn't like him.
Well, yes, exactly. But I think they were saying that Rhonda is usually very helpful, but she wasn't the most helpful today. So I
Mhm.
guess that's enough reason to punish her by putting her in the
Yeah.
bottom 3.
All right. So Ariel has to make a decision about, okay, and you get to say the base commander gets to save people, sort of like the
Mhm.
Bachelor. And so I think Tanashi was like really trying to like we saw Natalia earlier this season, like in this spot of like, if you're the mission specialist, you could really sort of be the Andy Richter in Conan's ear and sort of like all right, here's what
Yes.
you should do. She's like, Tanashi, I think, was like, you know what to do. Get rid of
Yeah.
Lance. Just take
I mean,
Lance out.
she was like, if it were me, we
If it
would be
was
getting rid
me,
of
I would
Lance.
do it. And
And
so
but it's
Ariel's like,
you and
okay.
you should do it.
Yeah. And so, all right. So they went in, Kat, welcome in. I think they were just like, Kat's a chef. The food is
They
bad.
hadn't gotten their food yet because
Kat's
the
gonna win the
first night
show.
they had pizza and buffalo wings and then Kat was like, I'll make dinner the next night. So they haven't even seen what Kat does yet.
They didn't even
They
want
gotta
to
keep
miss
her.
Kat's dinner. So
Yeah,
Kat's
exactly.
safe. She'll be there the whole time. All
Yeah.
right. Adam, he's in the alliance. He comes through. Portia, winner
Obviously.
also of Best Butt on Mars.
Yeah. She said her butt has gotten better since she's been on Mars. Apparently, because Tinashe was like spitting Mars facts at some point, and it was apparently saying like they're getting younger and skinnier there,
Yeah, well, they're getting
and butts are
skinnier
getting
because
better.
if you weigh 200 pounds on Earth, you weigh like 58 pounds on Mars. So
Yeah,
they are getting skinnier.
yeah, because they're on Mars. Did you know
Mhm.
that, Rob?
Yeah.
They're on Mars.
Yes. All right. Andy, welcome in. So Andy has done a good job ingratiating himself with the
I
Alliance, I
love
think.
it. Thank God. I would have been devastated if we lost him after one
Yeah.
episode.
Okay. So Lance Armstrong's like, you see, this is what they do.
I knew
That's
it.
it. I knew it. And then she's like, well, I really am painted in a corner here. I really would like to get rid of Lance Armstrong, but I can't. So, all right, welcome in Lance. They don't call him Lance anymore.
No, he's lost his Lance
Mm-hmm.
moniker.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. But they give him like compliments too. They're like, this is someone who is always mission critical, and he was mission critical today.
Here's the problem for the people in the alliance. It's like, okay, they have an alliance, but like the people that are good in the mission are typically like the athletes. And like maybe like the athletes like have like a Richard Sherman where it's like, yeah, I just want to leave. So that's like the best that they can hope for. But in terms of like
Which
mission performance, like the athletes are always like they're always like carrying heavy stuff. They're always like performing well in the challenges. Like they almost rarely screw it up.
and this is why if they cared about if you are Ariel and you're trying to like balance like not making bigger drama by getting rid of Lance because you're like, oh, I've already made a big thing about it being fair and stuff, but you're also like trying to like help your position and not just keeping the athletes because they're good in the missions. Like I think the move here is you get rid of Paul Pierce.
Well, I think that's what they wanted to do.
I think that's what they wanted to do, and then I think they got talked out of it. But
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
there's a yeah. I think that was probably
Okay.
the move, though.
And then Marshawn Lynch is also like, oh, they're gonna like, I knew it. Okay. And then it's like we get Rhonda, Ashley, and Paul Pierce are in the bottom 3. And they're going through the reasons of what to do. And we see Ariel say, like, you know what, Paul, vibes are off. Came in like, and Portia's like, what does that mean? Why are you being? What's wrong with his vibes?
Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I thought that, on second thought, the vibes were good.
Actually, no.
I thought we weren't going to make this personal.
Yeah. So that's the thing, and that's why like Portia really does look at all of this stuff very diplomatically because like those are her people. Like, you know what I mean? Like Ariel and Tinashe are people that she's in good with. But as soon as she thinks that they are taking it personally, she's like, no.
But she's in
like,
good with everybody. Yeah, she's in good with Marshawn. Like she's in good with
yeah, but I think she really cares about the integrity of the mission. And she's like, you cannot tell me that Paul was less helpful than Ashley. And I mean, she's not wrong, but it's like she's not playing it strategically. If you're, I don't know,
right?
But I guess she is because no matter what, everyone seems good with her. So maybe I don't know.
And so Rhonda, they let her back in. I mean, it would be a shame to lose Ronda Rousey over this mission. And
Can you imagine?
Ashley, it's like we didn't get to know you.
Yeah, we didn't get to see what you were capable of.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, you were you look too comfortable with your finger in the hole.
Yeah. Yeah. And poor Ashley, she's like, I'm not the smartest, or she's like, I'm not the most athletic or the best problem solver, but she still expected more from herself. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you weren't really given an opportunity to do much more, but
Yeah.
oh well.
All right.
I mean, it's probably the right choice. Like, can you see Ashley helping a lot in these challenges? No, not
No.
really.
All right, Jenny, we've come this far on Stars on
Hmm.
Mars. Are we gonna quit the mission like Lance Armstrong wanted to?
I mean, I feel like there gotta only be like a couple more episodes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like probably like what, like four more.
Mm-hmm.
We got this far.
We come this far.
I want to see
Sam
Andy
Moore thinks it's
Richter
12 episodes.
12 more episodes or
No,
12
12 episodes.
period.
I don't think it could be 12 more
Okay, so we're
episodes.
halfway through. I mean, I would at least I'm is there something else that's going on that you're more intrigued by? I feel like we
I don't
got
know.
caught up. I
We
feel
got
like
caught up. Let's see where it goes. But
yeah, let's see what
seriously,
happens. But if
next
Lance can
time,
get his shit together, and
yeah. If
you know,
Lance Armstrong is gonna continue,
and
I'll quit on Lance.
oh, I know. I mean, I've already quit. Well, I mean, I saw. Well, I didn't see this coming. I
Mm-hmm.
don't follow Lance on anything, so I didn't realize that these were his talking points.
Yeah.
But I have no attachment to Lance Armstrong.
Okay.
But we've invested some time in this show, and
Buddy
I'm
Games is around
hoping.
the corner, Jenny. When
Rob, I
does
can't
Buddy
wait.
Games kick off? We're
I don't
ready.
know. It's got to be in
We're
September,
ready. Should
right?
we go right into Buddy Games preseason coverage?
Maybe. Well, yeah, we can
Sam, ask
do.
CBS if they want us to do first one out for Buddy Games.
Yeah, can we get some preseason interviews
Yeah.
or
Do we want to
something?
do preseason interviews? When are we talking to Josh Duhamel?
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
So
All right.
again, we're treading water till Buddy Games, I think, right?
Yeah. So I think that they literally will be treading water on Buddy
Yeah, it's
Games. So
perfect.
looking forward to that. All
It's
right, Jenny,
great.
what's coming up for you?
Like you said, covering Claim to Fame. This past week, we got to cover episode, was it 4? With and we had Asia and Lavina join us. It was a really great time. I'm loving the show. The season is so good. And I also appeared on the Hot Dummies on Islands feed,
Yes.
covering the first 4 episodes of Too Hot to Handle season 5 with Kirsten McInnes and Nicole Weaver join us, and we talked through what was certainly 4 episodes of Too Hot to Handle. So check that out on the Hot Dummies on Islands feed. And other than that, you can see what's going on if you follow me on social media at Jenny Autumn. And I'm sorry that we left you hanging, guys.
Yes. We love
but
to
we
hear
didn't.
from you. Yes.
Yeah, we knew that you were waiting for the stars on Mars. We just didn't know
Thank you for
exactly
your
when we were gonna
patience.
be able to get it together, and I
All
didn't
right.
want to make false promises. Okay.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us for Hit or Quit for this week. We'll be back to talk about Stars on Mars again next time. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.